South Portland police say they called in the bomb squad while executing a high-risk search warrant earlier today. Police say officers were serving a warrant on Florence Street when they discovered a suspicious substance. Nearby homes were evacuated as a precaution while the scene was investigated. John Flummerfelt was arrested and charged with criminal use of explosives. Police say additional charges could be filed as the investigation continues. The Maine Forest Service is investigating the cause of a brush fire in Dover Foxcroft that burned nearly 3 acres of woods. The fire chief says a public works crew discovered the fire on Gravel Pit Road around 7:45 this morning. The crew told investigators they found a large brush pile burning, which they believe ignited overnight. The fire spread into nearby woods before crews brought it under control early this afternoon. The chief says about 14 fire departments responded to the scene. Public works crews also used heavy equipment to help contain the fire in hot weather conditions.
It got up into the woods and roughly spread to about 3 acres before we had it contained. Right now, Maine State Forestry is on scene leading the investigation. We don't have a cause of what determined the fire.
Biggest factors for the spread was just delayed response to it. It appears that it started sometime overnight, was found pretty much at the size it was contained at.
2 firefighters were treated for heat exhaustion, though no serious injuries were reported. Today, local contractors gathered in Portland demanding payment for work they say they completed more than a year ago. The dispute centers around the Maine International Cold Storage Facility along Portland's waterfront. CENTER Maine's Alex Haskell was at the facility all day and brings us the latest.
In 77 years of doing business, we've never seen anything like this.
Andy LeConte is the general manager of Mainline Fence. He says his company is still waiting on $60,000 for work it completed.
The general contractor has simply ignored our invoices and payment requests. This is unacceptable.
And he's not alone.
We followed the contract to the letter.
General Manager Mark Curtis of Gorham Sand and Gravel says he's owed about $1 million.
We did it professionally, we did it safely, we completed it on time, even though payment wasn't flowing.
Although these contractors say they're owed different amounts of money, they all worked on the same project, the Maine International Cold Storage Facility. Think of it as a massive, more than 100,000 square foot freezer that stores food, including seafood.
The facility is open, the rent is being collected, the economic development promises are being celebrated. The only people still waiting are the main contractors who built it.
Kelly Flagg, executive director of the Associated General Contractors of Maine, says many contractors are still waiting to be paid. She says the project's general contractor, FCL Builders, and the developer, Amber Infrastructure, each maintain the other is responsible for paying those bills.
Maine's businesses have been forced to draw on lines of credit, drain company reserves, and absorb significant financial hardship simply to meet their own obligations.
Several contractors say they have filed lawsuits in an effort to recover the money they're owed.
We'll be fighting for some legislation.
State Senator Brad Farron says he expects lawmakers to explore additional protections for contractors to help prevent similar disputes in the future. Meanwhile, many of these companies say they're still waiting for their money.
And if we don't receive that money, we can't do for our coworkers like we want to.
That was Alex Haskell reporting there. We've reached out to the general contractor and developer for comment and have not yet heard back. Former state Senate president and Democratic candidate for governor Troy Jackson is making his final push ahead of Tuesday's June 9th primary. He's one of 5 Democrats competing for the party's nomination. As Phil Hirschgorn reports, Jackson's core message is that he'll fight for working class Mainers.
Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Yeah, same here. No problem.
Right before their day shift, Troy Jackson met with South Portland-based UPS drivers who belong to the Teamsters Union. With 2,500 members in Maine, including 1,000 UPS drivers, it's one of many unions backing Jackson for governor.
But what we're trying to do, is have a mindset that everyday working class people deserve a seat at the table in state government. And that's something that I've been trying to do my entire life because that's who I am.
Before his 20 years in the state legislature representing Aroostook County, Jackson was a fifth-generation logger. Jackson telling the Teamsters Local he'd like to turn the Blaine House into a union hall where the governor fights for workers.
Working people are important. Working people deserve to have representation. And, you know, the wealthy and the powerful and the elite don't get to have their way all the time. I'm in.
This afternoon in Portland, Jackson pivoted to unveil his plan to regulate artificial intelligence, AI.
Technology should serve people, not rule them.
He would establish environmental standards for the water and energy demands of AI infrastructure, require new data centers to develop their own power sources, establish safeguards to restrict how much AI is used to replace workers, and create a task force to oversee the ethical implementation of AI in state government.
Now, we should welcome useful innovation, but we should draw hard lines where AI threatens jobs, and I will. Things like children, privacy, public accountability, community control, or basic human dignity have to be protected.
Jackson said we can't wait for Washington to regulate big tech, but he would partner with other states to manage AI, and he believes this is a policy area where Maine can lead. In Portland, Phil Hirschkorn for News Center Maine.
One Republican candidate for governor is responding to criticism from Democrat Nirav Shah. Yesterday, Shah picked apart the plans of 3 Republican candidates, saying they highlight problems but offer no solutions. Today, Ben Midgley says he does have a detailed plan. The former Crunch Fitness franchising CEO pointed to his experience and promised to tackle issues with Maine's welfare system if elected. He says he'll release his full plan once in the Blaine House. In his state budget outline, Republican gubernatorial candidate Garrett Mason says he would write his own budget the moment he's in office. He says it would serve as an alternative to the one left by the Mills administration. Mason says he could cut $1 billion from the state budget immediately, and he believes his previous experience in the state Senate can help him make that possible. He also wants to see more scrutiny for the state's welfare system.